tuning in. Today, when I was changing my friend Thomas's oil, who actually shoots these videos, stumbled across a little problem. If you look carefully at this bolt, you can tell that the head has stripped. And this is a really common problem on the oil pan bolts used on Mercedes 4 and 6 cylinder cars after 1985. The 123 series always used a smaller bolt, but when you're dealing with M103 engines, M102 engines, 601, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 engines, this bolt was commonplace. And as you can see, it has a massive head, a massive thread, and it has a tiny head. And because of that, it likes to strip. So what do you do when this bolt strips? Now, most people take a pair of vice grips to it. Well, let's try to start you off right. The first tool you should be using to remove this bolt is a 13mm socket with a 6-point head. And it's really good to couple that to a 3/8 inch drive ratchet. If you're trying to use a 1/4 inch drive ratchet, you're joking. Also, if you're trying to use a 12-point wrench, you're joking. That's how these things get stripped. So if you are changing your oil and this thing strips, or you discover a car with a stripped bolt, what do? Well, the first thing that I do is I don't screw around and try to make a 13 work. I actually go to the toolbox and I get a 1/2 inch drive, 1/2 inch socket. So 1/2 inch drive, 1/2 inch socket with 6 points. And yes, because 1/2 inch is actually marginally smaller than 13, it's not an exact fit. That means you have to get a hammer and tap it on. Now, this fits on really well because I've hit this thing a few times to get it to fit, but once you do this, there's typically enough meat left on the head of the bolt to get it loose. Now, if this doesn't work and the thing has just been mutilated by somebody who insisted on using vice grips, there's some other things you can do. Remember that these always screw into a cast aluminum oil pan, so you want to be really careful. Now, people ask me, Pierre, in a pinch, can I use vice grips? And I say yes, but they need to be flat-sided. They can't have an arc, and they need to be the original brand Irwin vice grip, which is available at Sears, Ace Hardware, or other high-end stores that carry good equipment. The Irwin vice grip tends to take anything you throw at it. I've never broken one of these. So yes, you can grab the heads. You need to make sure you're out at the corner. Make sure you're actually at the sides with your vice grip tool, and make sure you're using big ones, like the kind where you have to grit your teeth together to unlock the bolt and put them on there. Put them on such that you can push with 2 hands. You want to make sure you have enough leverage, and if the 1/2 inch drive just can't go on there, usually the vice grips will work. Now, sometimes the head is so mutilated nothing works except a chisel. And when you use a chisel, you want to make sure and have a bigger hammer, at least a 5-pound hammer. And you want to make sure that you have a very sharp chisel. So sharpen your chisel, use a grinder to get it sharp, and around the shank of the bolt here, tap, 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 tap. You could actually tap the bolt loose, but you're going to have to be very patient. When you're done, don't over torque the bolt. Torque it to like 15 foot-pounds. Use a new copper washer, even though if you're changing the oil on an M103 engine and you just get a Mann or Hinkst filter, they don't come with one, so you need to buy the washer separately. Once you're done, please install a new bolt. These new bolts are usually a little stronger. They have more meat on them. Don't over torque them and everything will be fine. So, if you have small questions like these, feel free to call us. That way, call upon us for help. Send us your questions via email. Please like our page. And try to avoid doing this. Instead, try to keep a new oil drain pan bolt handy for your 103, 102, 60X series diesel so that you don't run into this situation. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in and have a great time driving your Mercedes-Benz.